There's a right way for us to approach God in worship, and there is a wrong way for us to approach God in worship. There is true worship, which gives grace, and there is false worship, which can be deadly. And the right worship centers not on the sacrifices outlined in the Old Testament, not on food laws and ceremonies, whether they were once ordained by God and no longer binding on individuals or invented by men. The right worship fixes our eyes on Jesus. Look at verses 10 through 12. We have an altar from which those who serve the tent have no right to eat. For the bodies of those animals whose blood is brought into the holy places by the high priest as a sacrifice for sin are burned outside the camp. So Jesus also suffered outside the gate in order to sanctify the people through his own blood. That sacrificial language, the animals being sacrificed, their bodies being burned outside of the camp, it's a reference to Exodus chapter 29, the passage that James read in the Old Testament reading. And you note the parallel that the pastor is making here. In the same way that the Old Testament sacrifices, that sin offering, the animal was destroyed, burned outside the camp, so too Jesus, the ultimate sin offering, offered himself up for us and was destroyed outside the gate, outside of the walls of Jerusalem. This is a reference to the crucifixion of Jesus. Remember, Jesus was taken outside of the city, crucified on a cross. His blood was shed. He gave himself a sacrifice so that by his blood he might sanctify you, the people of God.